Hey everybody, this is What's Up with Giancarlo. We've got topic 11, lesson 5 in the 6th grade status book, and it is display data in box plots. I can make and interpret box plots. The standard is MA.6.DP.1.1.5. Create box plots to represent sets of numerical data within real world contexts. All right, let's get started. Example 1, make a box plot. Helen wants to compare the lengths of 15 fish she caught this year to the lengths of 15 fish she caught last year. How can she use the data to make a box plot? A box plot is a diagram that shows the distribution of data values using the median, quartiles, minimum value, and maximum value on a number line. Okay, so on a box plot, I'm gonna write box plot, bruv. So box plot, I've got least value, okay, or minimum value. I like calling it least because it is the smallest value. So least value, that's what I've got. Then I've got the lower quartile, which we'll get into. Don't you worry. Squeeze this in. Okay. Then we've got the median. Then we've got the upper quartile. Okay. And then we've got the greatest value. Greatest value. All right. So we need all of these things to make a box plot. So the first thing we would do is we would take all these numbers here and put them in order from least to greatest. Okay? So let's look. Oh, already got it. All right. So clearly your least value, or LV, would be 7. Okay? Your greatest value, or GV, equals 22, the biggest number. Okay? And then obviously you guys know how to find the median, or you should at least. So we cross out all the numbers, blah, blah, blah. In the very middle is 13. So median is 13. So now upper quartile, or we'll go with lower quartile first. Lower quartile, or LQ, equals the median of the first half of the numbers. Of the first half of the numbers. All right. UQ, upper quartile, equals the median of the second half of the numbers. Okay, so we have the least value, we have the greatest value, we have the median. We got to find the LQ and the UQ. So we pretty much slice it right down the middle where the median is, okay? Now I got to find the median of the first half of the numbers. So cross, 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 and then I have 10 left. So lower quartile would be 10. And then I look at the second half of the numbers, cross this out, 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 and 15 is the median of the upper quartile. So 15. Notice how they say first quartile and third quartile. It could be the lower or upper either, okay? But the median they technically call the second quartile. Look for that if they do that on the fast test. I'd be pretty upset if they did, but whatever. I like lower quartile and upper quartile better. So now we have our number line. I like to start off with drawing our lines for the least value and the greatest value, or the minimum and the maximum. Okay? I like making lines. Then I like making the lines for the lower quartile and the upper quartile and the median, okay? So I know my lower quartile is 10, so I just make my line right here. I know my median is 13, and I know my upper quartile is 15. So now I just make my little box, bada bing, bada boom, and then I create the lines. So it's called a box plot now, but it used to be called a box and whisker plot, where this would be the box, and then these are the long whiskers. But they just changed it to box plot. They just dropped the whiskers. They don't care anymore. Okay, so quartiles are values that divide a data set into 4 equal parts. All right, 1 part, 2 part, 3 part, 4 part. And that is making a box plot. Everything is right there for you. Write everything down, rewind if you need it, okay? Let's move on. The lengths in inches of 11 fish that Helen caught last year are listed below. Go ahead and pause. All right. It asks us to circle the first quartile, the median, and the third quartile. So I'm going to go ahead and underline the least value and the greatest value because that's pretty obvious. If we look at it, it is already in number order. So I've got 7 as the least value, 22 as the greatest value. Okay? So there's an odd amount of fish, there's an odd amount of numbers. So we will have a perfect median. Okay? So it should be the sixth number. Okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it should be 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is directly in the middle. Okay? Now, if we take out the median, we look at the first 5 numbers. 1, 2, 1, 2. So 12 is directly in the middle. 1, 2, 1, 2. So 16 is directly in the middle. Those, we've got our LQ, our median, and our UQ, and then our GV and our LV. You're just finding a whole bunch of medians pretty much. All right? Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, okay? Let's ride. Okay, example 2. Make a box plot when the number of values is even, okay? The Earth Club collected enough donations online to build compost bins. How can the club record the the donation information in a box plot? So they take all the donations, put them in not alphabetical order, numerical order. You find your minimum, you find your maximum, okay? So then you find the very middle to find your median. It's in between these two numbers. So what do? We take the mean, we add them both together. We do 35 plus 25 to get 60, and then we divide that by 2 to get 30 as the mean. Okay? We get 30 as the mean. I'm going to erase it. That's how we do it. And then to find the upper and lower quartile, we put a little line in between them, and then it's in between these two. So 15 plus 25 is 40, divided by 2 would be 20, and then 3 and 3, so you do 45 plus 50, that is 95. You divide it by 2, and you get 47.5 as your upper quartile or third quartile, whatever. Okay? So when we're making our box plot, we put LV, LQ, M, UQ, GV. So that kind of separates it: minimum, maximum, median, all M's, first quartile, third quartile, whatever. Okay? So I just like using these letters and names. So the minimum would be 10. That's your first line. Boom. LQ would be 20. Bada bing, bada boom. Median, we said, was 30. Put the line there. UQ, or third quartile, is 47.5. You really got to try your best to get as close as possible. So they say that's where it's looking. and then the maximum or the greatest value would be 60. So we put our line. Then we just connect all the lines. Our little box of chocolates. And that's how you do it when you have an even amount of numbers. Okay, so let's move on. There's no try it for example 2. So let's look at example 3. Interpret a box plot. The interquartile range, or IQR, is a measure of spread for the middle half of a data set. It is the width of the box, in quotations, in a box plot. The box plot shows the weights in pounds of bags of donated clothing. What information do you know from the RQR? So, the median of the data set is 17, okay? We can see that it's right in between 16 and 18. The first quartile is 12 and the third quartile is 18. 12 and 18. So IQR equals the upper quartile minus the lower quartile. Pretty easy. So in this situation, we've got 18 minus 12. So the IQR equals 6. Okay? Now, if we're talking range, just regular range, not interquartile range, we would have the GV minus LV. And that would be 20 minus 8. And that would equal 12. All right? IQR is the upper quartile minus the lower quartile, and that gives you the interquartile range of 6. Let's look at this. Try it. So, the ages of 12 volunteers participating in a beach cleanup are shown. Okay, so we don't really have to record the ages in a box plot. We can just find the IQR, okay? But ready, set, pause it. Okay. You should be back and ready to work. So we've got, let's put them in order first. 9, 9, 9, cross out. And then we've got 3 15s. Cross those out. Then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 21s. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cross those out. Then we've got 24. Then we've got 27. Cross those out. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we have 12 numbers. So it'll be the 6th and the 7th numbers for the median. All right. So we add these together, we get 36. So my median equals 18. 18. And then we put a split right there. And then we get the two medians for the lower quartile would be 9 and 15. So 9 plus 15 is 24, and half of that is 12. So the LQ equals 12. So that's, I do 15 plus 9, that's 24, divided by 2 equals 12. Okay? So 12 is the LQ. And then it's 21 and 21, so my UQ equals 21 because there's no number in between them. So it's just 21 is perfect. All right? So my IQR which is the UQ minus the LQ. I get 21 minus 12, and that equals 9. All right? So 9 is the answer to this because it is the IQR. Find the IQR. The IQR is 9. All right? Here's a little key concept going over not how to find the box plot, but how to label it and what everything is. All right? Thanks for tuning in to What's Up with Giancarlo. And remember, if you're watching this, you're a part of the class. See you next time, everybody.